Family, good morning. Good morning. I am Chi Vital, also known as Young Mother, and I am doing this video like crazy early. I'm looking at the clock now, and it's actually 4:40 a.m. Over on the East Coast. Shouts out to all of my people who are working with the angelic frequency. I have never done a video this early in the morning before. Hi, Ahaya. Hey, Moonchild. Um, but literally, I woke up around 3 something and I felt like, I'm up. So, because this information is coming to me to share with you all, I'm just going to capture it early. I have my robe on. I actually fell asleep in my clothes and it was like, that's why. Not that obviously like I'm gonna get dressed to get on a video, but just keeping it real, like this is the situation. um I was studying late, not even that late, but as you all probably are experiencing with all of these major planets that are close to us in retrograde, like the sleep was irresistible. So um with that being said, I was like, this is probably just the time that the information needs to come to you all. So I'm actually quite impressed that you all are up and ready to study. And I was hoping that if you were up, you were scrolling, you were just in that same space of just asking all of the right questions, gaining some clarity, and boom, here. I'm here to help all of you who are um, being a part of this binary code, living wealth spirit ritual, gain even more clarity and understanding about the importance and the sacredness of what you are doing. All right. I woke up this morning and I looked at, we have a Discord for those of you who are new to the family. We have a Discord, so they're in Discord, where it's very active. And I'm looking at all of these ones and zeros, and I'm loving it. Okay? Call me a geek or whatever, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it because I'm looking at this space where everyone is speaking in a language that they took the time to map out for themselves and they understand. And everyone is speaking the same language, which makes the particular community even more tighter. But they're also reinforcing the fact that we live in a binary coded world, not just our computers, but our entire existence here, okay, is a living, breathing binary algorithm. With that understanding, let's make it even more clearer. So each of the ones in your code, okay, that exist are equivalent to a ray of light. They are, the one is representative of the masculine energy. So we're looking at this upright standing energy. Obviously, we can compare it to the phallus. We can look at other means of that energy, like the Washington Monument, the obelisk. All of these forms are right and exact to bring forth life. And in order for life to exist, it has to connect with this cosmic womb, which is the zero. The zero being that void point is where all of the manifestations of this one exist. Okay? And so we are really doubling down on what it means to work with the principles of sexuality and how we manifest in a very powerful way. So for those of you who didn't watch my previous video, we are moving into the blueprint of godliness and how to create utilizing the very same frequencies that all things have been created in created with here on the planet. Okay, so this is a reminder, and I'm going to go further into what the ritual will require, right? This is a reminder that as you are bringing to life this personal wealth spirit, you want to liken it to a particular computer program, all right? Although you will be using some forms of paper, you'll be using your offerings, what is going to really feed this spirit and what's going to become the flesh and the mind of this spirit is really a matter of habit. Okay? Your habits, the data that you give it, and the energy that you put into it. So if you really want this spirit of wealth, this wealth spirit to operate optimally, you're going to need to be present with that energy. So this particular ritual is one that let's give it a lifetime of practice, right? We're conceiving a spirit. The same way in which you conceive a child, another person, you're creating your own people, right? You have that responsibility for, we say, up until it can exist on its own, like 18 to 21 years old, it's an adult, right? So this conception is a commitment to building this particular wealth spirit to its maturation where it understands the language that you've given it. It understands why, what it is that you're asking it for. It understands that you have created an exchange of offerings and what those offerings will be. So historically, there is a relationship to wishing wells. Wishing wells in practice, one, let's talk about where they exist. Wishing wells were built and are built on natural ley lines. Okay? So let's bear that in mind. Wishing wells are built on natural ley lines. Now, the source of water that is found and serves the community, understand that it's still a relationship between the people and this hidden place in the womb where it is believed to be governed by most times feminine spirits who are connected to the element of water and bring forth health, bring forth fertility, wealth, and provide a sense of hope for people when they go there. Okay, the magic, let's just think about the magic of hope. Okay, while we can't just simply exist in the energy of hope, without hope, we would not have the wherewithal to take action behind that particular energetic. Okay? And it's through hope that our actions ignite us into a space of belief, because we take action behind that hope. We do things that manifest the outcomes that we desire, therefore reinforcing a knowing that can go with a belief. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to believe in what I can prove to be true. And that proof for me is personal. It's not always going to be something that works for everyone else. So this energy of hope, it becomes very, very activated, very strong along these ley lines. For those of you who are walking through your cities, or you go to major places where there's a lot of energy present, I know we like to look at the major cities and major places, but I want you to become more in tune with, especially under this grand water trine, in tune with the way that water moves in your body when you are going into spaces and your vibration shifts. So for example, there's a place, I just found a new place, but I'm going to start with this original place. There's a place up in the mountains, going towards upstate New York. And there's about this crossing over where I notice a shift in vibration. It's very, very, very palpable. Like I can feel it. It's a tangible shift. And when I go through that space, all of the things that I feel my cells feel like they open up. I feel the pores of my skin open up. I feel a lightness come over me, the weight on my shoulders and in my mind. It just opens up and ideas start to flood in. And the ideas that start to flood in are in such alignment with what I truly desire that I then go into like a mantra of gratitude. And everything else around me is as if my vision is just that much more vivid. The colors are brighter. The way that I look at things, there's more beauty coming off of it. It's basically like a microdose experience. So if you have ever been to places like this, then you become more familiar with how these ley lines, right? These ley lines are magnetic strips that run through the planet. The magnetism that you are experiencing is because you have this, you have magnetic fluids running through your body. So when I speak of the water in your body, we're not talking about the water you're carrying in your bladder. The water in your body that is pulled by this magnetic force is in your bloodstream. Okay? And when you get this bloodstream activated, you also can start to feel deep down in the bones, your bone marrow, where there's blood, right? Bone marrow, these shifts. Within the bone marrow are the original pieces of data that have been carrying on from your ancestors over all of the millennia down to you. This is why we connect the bones to our ancestors. Okay? So when we bear that in mind, as you are going through this ritual where you're going to write the binary code for the name of your wealth spirit, using all of these edible forms of material, right? Where we're utilizing our own sacrament from our bloodstream. We're utilizing the blood of the fruit with wine and gin. We're utilizing rice paper, which is connected directly in a plethora of rituals with prosperity. Okay? Rice grain is extremely powerful as an offering to wealth spirits. We're utilizing water. We have cinnamon, incense, cedar, because we're working with a spirit of wealth that is connected to good fortune. Okay? Why is that important? There are so many entities that we can be working with that are connected to good fortune, with money. And how that money arises can either create more karmic debt for you or karmic trauma for you. Eventually, it can be a part of your genetic makeup. This spirit is already connected to you. It is just now giving you a living entity to work out those things specifically with wealth, where you will be able to recognize any viruses that might exist in that computer programming and be able to feed it directly whatever medicine it needs to do better by your wealth. Okay, so it's not going to create any karmic retribution for you, especially when the blood sacrament is actually coming from yourself. It's yours to give. Press 1 if that makes sense. So the water that you're using for this ritual, I said it needs to be spring water or moon water, which means you've already prepared this water under the moon. And hopefully you used drinkable water, potable water, drinkable water, because you're going to consume this elixir that you are making. You are making an elixir, a living elixir. All right? Once you've taken this elixir and have allowed it to receive all of your intentions, of course you have the instructions to follow, and you drink this elixir, you go from being the 1 and the bowl being the 0, the womb, to becoming the 0 as the womb, the cosmic womb, the void, the vessel, the actual fountain itself. You're going to consume the elixir, which will be the 1, the intention, and become impregnated with this spirit. Now, let me just share something for those of you who may have never gone through an initiation specific to a saint, an ancestral practice, whatever, Loa, Inkisi, Orisha. I'm talking about initiations where your consciousness is literally goes through this cosmic marriage with this other entity. And so it is a kind of marriage that is literally like it's like blood in, blood out. Like once it's done, like once that chemistry is completed, like that's what it is. And so if there's any actual priest in the chat, they will know, they will understand what I'm saying is that, like, there's things about that entity that don't jive well with other things. And for that reason, you will, if you gotten to know a priest very closely and understood some of their habits or got to know them, knew them before, And after they've gone through those initiations, you'll notice that there's certain things that they just don't do anymore. And it can be as extreme as, like, they don't go to the beach anymore. Or it can be as small as there's a particular pattern of clothing, maybe like stripes or like cutout jeans, that they just don't wear anymore. Okay, because energetically that entity does not jive well with it. It draws, when that particular energetic is around, it puts the person at risk. Not necessarily at risk for death, but at risk for unnecessary challenges. All right. So what's important to note about this, that I want you to take seriously about your own entity, right? I feel like it's easier for people to go into a religion and to respect entities that they're introduced to than it is for them to respect their own spirit. And as much as it's important for you to honor and respect these other entities, remember that your spirit is the most important, considering that if it were not for your own consciousness, your own animation, those other spirits would not ever have a vessel, right? A vessel to move through. Understood? So when you create this money, this wealth spirit, and you drink this elixir, you're going to have literally 2 places that this wealth spirit is existing. Very much like someone who is living with an orisha on their crown, right? The crown was an orisha. And they have a pot as well, right? So these particular things are important in grounding your energy. So you are taking out a part of you intentionally and giving it a name. Once you've given it its name, you are walking around with that living spirit inside of you. Let's talk about that aspect first. So remember I said, yes, you have these materials, you have the paper, you have the offerings, but once you have consumed this elixir, acknowledging it as a living being and allowing yourself to be the incubator for it. What's so dope about this is that it does not matter if you're a man or a woman. You go into a space where you want to protect that spirit and what it's going to be capable of doing for you. Okay? That means if you are in the process of carrying a wealth spirit, it's not going to allow you to go into certain places where wealth is not existent or wealth is not respected. And you, as the carrier of this wealth spirit, need to start becoming aware of some of the changes immediately that are going to happen right after you complete this ritual. There are going to be conversations that you absolutely cannot engage in because it's not good for your wealth spirit. Your wealth spirit will get sick. Your wealth spirit might catch a virus. Press 1 in the chat if you're ready for that kind of responsibility. So we understand that you, because you are the creator of the wealth spirit, in actuality, you're familiar with its taboos. And I want you to go as far as doing an audit of things going on in your world, whether they're thought patterns, your own personal habits or lack thereof that exist that are taboos for your wealth spirit. Just write them down. You know, if you have a health concern where your blood sugar is out of whack, you should not be drinking lots of alcohol. You should not be eating a bunch of sugary cakes and snacks because it's detrimental to your health. Then it's probably a taboo to your wealth spirit because it puts you in a position where your wealth spirit is not going to have very long to work with you if you don't take care of yourself. So you, as the master architect of this particular spirit, you must be very intentional. Because when a virus arises, because if you have had any children or pet children, you know that at some point there might be something, they might have eaten the wrong thing. They might fall and hurt themselves. Now, the wealth spirit is not going to fall and hurt themselves, but you actually can poison it. You actually can give it the wrong data. So you're taking the responsibility to giving it all of the data that it needs. I see a question in the chat and I like it. Can we create a wealth spirit that is immune to all things? Yes, you can. But in order for you to do that, you have to build it that way with the right data, the right energy, the right food. Things are not just immune because you're saying, okay, you're just immune. You have to actually think about the things that you probably already do, already have around you, that you need it to be immune to. And some of the ways for it to be immune to those things is to have definite boundaries. To have boundaries around your time management, to make sure that you stay focused. So you would want to speak those things. As my wealth spirit, you're absolutely, completely and solely focused on wealth and getting money and retrieving ideas and bringing them back to me. And this is going to be the exchange. You have to speak these things out loud so that you yourself can benefit from this relationship. It's not enough to create a spirit and not work with it. Okay? You absolutely have chosen this this name for your wealth spirit that came out of your meditation, but continue to sit and meditate with it and know for yourself what are some of the things I need to write into this spirit. Like for some of you, you're aware of why you may have run into some pitfalls. Okay? So this is important for you to know. Okay? So the next thing I wanted to bring to your attention was that there is a pranayama associated with your wealth spirit. Pardon me. I'm going to shorten space here on my temporary desk. But there's a pranayama associated with your wealth spirit. Okay? And I think that is going to be very fun for you. Because it was fun for me. Hell, I mean, it was just fun for me. I love breathing exercises, and I find that there's nothing more powerful. There's nothing more powerful than being able to speak the language of breath with something that is of the breath. Like, The breath gives consciousness, and so you're going to speak in this language once again. Woo! Sorry, baby. You're going to speak in this language once again, like fluently. So, pardon me. Is this the equivalent to creating an egregore? It is, but it isn't, because you're not utilizing anyone else's will but your own. So you don't, you have absolute power over this. When you're working in a group, yes, it is great because it's more than one person is giving power to that particular entity. But when it's just you, you have the sole responsibility of how successful and how potent and how powerful the spirit is going to be. So everyone's going to do this ritual, and the results are going to vary depending on how serious you take your creation, how connected you are to this creation, this entity. Okay? And it's not listening to anyone else. So all of the things that I'm telling you to might be is taboos. It's like, it's not about other people, but your consciousness is affected by who you're around. So if you're around people who are complaining a lot about not having enough and being broke, hopeless, okay, that energy exists in those spaces. Your wealth spirit is going to not like that space, because you would have programmed it for abundance. You have programmed it for good fortune. You have programmed, it's going to like go off. Like, I want you all to be prepared to feel like literally like sick to your stomach when you get around a person or a place that goes against what you programmed your wealth spirit for. And I want you to grow in such communion and trust with your wealth spirit that when you feel that way, literally when you feel your stomach, because you're going to drink this elixir, eventually, obviously, those things will pass and your body is going to absorb the particles of of the elixir. But your stomach will feel like, oh, like you need to pay attention, and just don't say anything to anybody. Just go, like, just remove yourself. Okay? Peace, greetings to Germany. Good afternoon to everybody over there in the East. Okay, and thank you. So I press 1 in the chat if that makes sense, and you feel more clarity around body cues that are going to let you know that you're in the danger zone of picking up a virus. My senses are really sharp. So if I go into a space where someone has been sick, even if they try not to say anything, I immediately get a sensation, depending on the kind of sickness that has been in that space. I can either feel it in my head, or I can feel it at the back of my throat. Okay? And it's something that, like, or there's a slight smell shift. Now, if you have ever trained your senses to be like that, then you know what I'm talking about. You can tell that people smell differently when they may be getting sick. Like how animals can pick up on their owners if something is wrong or they're about to have a seizure. Your bodily, your pheromones change, all of that changes. Okay? And so the same with your wealth spirit, it's going to be that sensitive. It's going to be like, oh, like if you order yourself a Lyft or an Uber and you know you've paid for it to be a clean and nice ride, and you don't get that, you are not going to get down the block I'm telling you from experience, you're not going to get down the block. It will tell you it's worth it for you to get out of this car and wait for another one, because this particular vehicle is not carrying the vibration that you're supposed to be riding in. Like, you can't relax in it because it's going to have you agitated. Okay? So let's just talk about the pranayama. You know, like I said, for me, it's hella early in the morning. Maybe this is just a clue in the lifestyle that is coming forward. I don't know, but we're here. Okay? But let's do the pranayama. So number one is when you breathe in. Okay? 0 is when you breathe out. You literally have your entire breath in each sequence. So each bit, right? Each bit has a breath sequence. So for those of you who have, I guess you've chosen a longer name, so you have more bits, all right? You're going to have a longer breathing sequence. I would take the total number, okay, and square it. And take the total number that you have and square it. And let that be the number that you use for either reciting the name or doing the pranayama. Now, for example, I decided to create this pranayama, and all of you can use it. So write down in your notebooks, or somebody put it in the chat as well. 1001001. Write it in the chat. 1001001. The next one is 1000001. 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 0 1 1 0 1 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 1. Probably going too fast right now, but it's okay. 1 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 0. Actually forgot I have access. I can type it here. But I like that y'all are typing it out for yourselves. All right? Write it down. So I'm going to put it in the chat. 1 2 3 4 5 1. Can you all hear me? All right. So there you are. There you are. It's in the chat. So we're going to do a little exercise together. For everyone watching this, you're going to do this affirmation. I want you to repeat after me. 1001001. 1000001. 1001101. 1010010. 1001001. 1000011. 1001000. I'm gonna translate, but I'm putting the binary code into you, and we're gonna breathe it. And if you trust me, then I'll tell you when we're done. Okay? Okay? Let's go. So we're going to follow the pranayama of the code that I just gave you. Starting now. Breathing in. Breathing out. Out. In. Breathing out. Out. In. In. Out. 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 In. In. Out. Out. In. In. Out. In. Breathing in. Out. In. Out. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Out. In. Out. Out. In. In. Out. 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 In. 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 Out. Out. In. Out. 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 And done. Let your cells feel that little tingly sensation moving around. Feel a cooling sensation on your skin. Feel an activation in your blood. That was binary code for I am rich. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I look forward to sharing more with you. And I'm actually looking forward to sharing perhaps a meditation, a binary code meditation. That will be dope and very different, you know. You heard it first here. With your wealth spirit, start breathing. It's pranayama. Just start breathing as pranayama in your meditations, connecting the breath. And let me know how you feel in the chat. I thank you all for being here with me in the early hours on the East Coast and the early hours on the West Coast, and then all the way over on the other side of the planet. Appreciate y'all. Peace, love, bliss, and prosperity. See you soon.